everyone. My name is Jennifer Cross, and I am here with Dr. Burke for another segment of Parenting the Fascinating Way. And this week, she's going to be talking to us about family meetings, why they're important, how to set it up, and the benefits. So go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be back. Today we're talking about family meetings and why they're important. So oftentimes we think about having weekly meetings with our company. So for example, the famous Monday meetings that we normally have. And we often neglect the importance of having that for the family. So the main purpose of having family meetings is to build closeness in the family and also to build cooperation. So this is connecting from our previous discussion. And we shouldn't think of family meeting as only discussing when something goes wrong. So you may think, okay, when there's a big episode of resistance or sibling rivalry and so on, that's when you should have family meetings. Actually, family meetings should be a weekly occurrence. So based on the activity of the family, you choose an evening that works best for everybody. And as parents, we have to be the one to take the lead, which means that when you set your family meeting date, you should not change it unless it's serious circumstance. So like, for example, a child is severely ill and so on. Because if you cancel or postpone the meeting, you're sending a message to your children that this meeting is obviously not as important to you. And they will also lose commitment in the meeting, regarding the meeting. So the second thing as well is that the family meeting should be to discuss everything. So you should not have the meeting only to tackle problems, but just to get on top of everything that's going on with the family, how everyone is doing, everybody's, expectations and so on. In this family meeting, you discuss both the good, the bad, and everything in between. And also you make sure that when you're having the meeting, you plan what you're going to do for the following week. So especially as children get older, especially teenage years, they may have different activities and so on that they are involved in. So it's similar to a business meeting where you say, okay, our next meeting, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. The important thing about having these meetings too is that at the end of the meeting, you should do something fun as a family. So whether it's playing a board game, watching a program together, but having a discussion about the program afterwards. So you may think, how can I get started with the family meeting and who is best to be in those family meetings? Everybody in the family can be a part of the family meeting, and children as young as 5 years old can also participate in the whole production of the meeting. So for example, you're going to need somebody who is a chairperson, chair boy, chair girl, or whatever. And that person will start the meeting. So you teach your children when you start the meeting, these are some of the things you need to say, some of the acknowledgements that need to take place. And then anybody in the family who is able to write well should take the minutes for the family.
I love that.
Yeah. So what you do at the start of the meeting is you may say, let's have a gratitude session. So everybody in the family states what they're grateful for. Or you may say, everybody in the family says one positive thing that they like about all family members. You realize, especially when there are sibling rivalries, a lot of time children are like, I don't see anything that I like about my brother or sister. When you have these family meetings, you can guide your children to say, okay, give suggestions. What do you like about how they are as an individual, their skills, their talents, and so on. When you do that, you're setting a foundation for children to have gratitude and appreciation of themselves and also members in the family. And then that will extend also to others in the immediate environment or even their school and community. So when you do that gratitude session, then you go into what it is that you need to discuss as a family. An important aspect of the family meeting is that you should have consensus on everything, not majority rule. If you have majority rule, there will be somebody who is not happy, and they will think that the large number of the family members, are basically going against them. So whatever the issues are, you can make sure that you have a consensus. And these family meetings can deal with chores, they can deal with behavioral problems, sibling rivalry, you name it, or anything that's a positive. So any new development with anybody in the family and so on, use those family meetings to discuss it. When you do that, you will build a corporation for your children because they are seeing that their perspective is now included into the decision-making process of the family. So if you have children who are constantly not willing to do chores, when you're having family meeting, you can set up a thing, for example, having a jar with all the activities that need to be done for the week. And then every child needs to pick out, say, 2 activities out of that jar. And they are then responsible for that activity for the week. If there's any issues, then you can talk about it as a family to see maybe children may want to swap their chores, but you have to make sure both children are on the same page with that and not one child bullying the other to take over another task and so on. So with the meetings, what you're trying to do is maintain balance in the family. And there are many benefits when you have family meeting because, for example, everybody, say from 5 years up, each week gets to be the chairperson, whoever can write, get to take the minutes of the meeting. You can discuss previous meetings as well, what happened and if there are any issues that need to be resolved. What you're doing is that you're improving your children's listening skills because everybody has to be quiet to hear the other perspective. You're teaching your children to brainstorm. You're teaching them communication skills. You're teaching them leadership skills. You are also teaching them how to build their self-esteem, to stand up for themselves and to speak for themselves because they have this safe platform to do so. And as parents, you realize that you benefit by reducing the power struggle that you would normally have with your children, and then you also learn to listen to your children because your children are sharing their point of view instead of having to try and have discussions when there are lots of blow-ups and so on.
Yeah, that's like the worst time to have a discussion is in the heat of that moment when people are, not thinking correctly or emotional.
Yes. And one thing that you can do, so you may say you have multiple family members and everybody needs to have a point. You can get, whether it's a toy mic, or you can be quite ingenious that whenever that person is holding that, whether it's a mic, a broom, a fork, whatever, nobody else is allowed to speak or interrupt until that person is done sharing their views and perspectives. So again, you're teaching children what it's like to take turns and to respect others' point of views, even though they may differ from yours. And then once that person finishes sharing their concerns or perspective, then you as a family can then go into trying to find ways to resolve whatever concerns that that person may have mentioned as they're sharing their issues and so on. So,
do you want to recap? I love it when you do that.
Okay, so family meetings should be a weekly occurrence, and as parents, be very careful to make sure that you set a day and time that you can abide by. Because remember, your children are watching you. If you set a day that you have to break, then you're teaching your children that they also should not commit to that particular time. Family meetings should be used to discuss everything, not just talking about things that are negative, because then children won't want to necessarily be there because, oh gosh, I have to go face my parents for X, Y, and Z. You should plan activities for family meetings for the next week and so on. After the family meeting, you should do something together as a family. An important thing is decisions made in the family meeting should be a consensus. It should not be majority rule, because if you do majority rule, then you're going against the whole purpose of the family meeting of setting closeness and cooperation in the family. And the benefits of it is that your children will be less resistant, they'll be more cooperative, and then they will gain so many soft skills that will benefit them in the classroom and further on in their life.
Great point. I love it. And I just have to piggyback off of it because we're doing this domestic goddess, month, as you know, and we are spending 3 weeks putting together a domestic goddess binder. And as I've done the research, a lot of the binders that the women are liking to put together, a section has a family meeting section. So here is my binder, and I just add notes there for a section for family meeting. And this binder ends up being a great thing that stays on the family counter and the kitchen table, and a place where people can take notes or leave notes for each other. And your minutes would go there, and they can go, what did we talk about? What was my chore? Or what was the whatever? And I love how that kind of fits in with, because right after this, we're going to be working on putting this together. And that's a great section, a really important section if you're wanting to organize your home life.
Yes, and that's one of the things I forgot to mention, that if you have the space, you can have like a whiteboard, or some people have those little whiteboards that you can stick onto your refrigerator. You allow every member in the family to go there and write what they want to talk about for the week.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody has like, I have this fight with my sister, I need to talk about it. Or I want to plan this party for the family, I want to talk about it. They can write it down. For children who aren't able to write yet, they may share it with you, and you can put like a picture that represents what it is that they want to speak about. And then with having the journaling aspect, then there's also accountability with the family, right? Because you can go back and say, hey, in the meeting that we had 3 weeks ago, this is what we discussed, and we should really have integrity with our words and our choice of actions and so on. So there are many benefits of having
Yes, it's such an important section, and thank you so much. It just reminded me, if you're interested in more of not only Fascinating Womanhood, but first of all, working with Dr. Taniesha Burke, she is a wonderful coach, parenting coach. Go to TanieshaBurke.com. I'll leave a link at the end. And also Fascinating Womanhood, she offers classes. She's a certified and trained teacher. We have the official Fascinating Womanhood closed group out on Facebook, where you can join the Domestic Goddess event and create this binder, which I'm thinking now, raising 5 kids, I kind of wish I had this binder back then, for a place for them in a way too, to put their, I need this signed, I need a check for this, a whole section for that kind of communicating, because they would come into my room at 9:30 at night. The night before, I'd have to sign the permission slip and write a check half in my sleep. So, so anyway, thank you so much. It's perfect timing. And any final comments? Go ahead.
Yes. Next week, we will talk about how we handle our children's mistake, because when children make mistakes, how we respond to them communicates a lot about how they should navigate the world. So if we have blow-ups about their mistakes, we're teaching them that they are not supposed to be risk takers and take on challenges that may cause them to have failure. So they are they become very, very protective of themselves, and they will not want to challenge who they are or challenge their abilities. So we're going to talk about how we
I can't wait to talk about that, because my belief is that makes your child become a liar.
Yes.
And obviously not a great characteristic for a kid, and that doesn't help them to feel good or positive when they have to lie to you because they're afraid of your reaction.
Exactly. Yes.
So wonderful topic. Can't wait. So I'll get this out there as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and share. And this